Hi everyone. How you doing, my friends? I hope everyone is doing wonderful today. Okay, so I want to talk about forgiveness today. In my opinion on it, which may be different than what you may think, and also unpopular. But I'm not here to have popular opinions. You should know that by now. Look, you know how honesty matters. I've been talking about this for a while, so I don't sugarcoat stuff. People have these misconceptions about how forgiveness and forgiving works. And here's the reality of the situation: it's okay to forgive if you feel okay to forgive. But if you don't feel okay about forgiving someone about something, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to explain to you why. I like to forgive. That's my personal stance. But we have to understand that there are certain things that some people will do to others that it doesn't matter if you forgave them for what they've done. Because if they don't forgive themselves, the fact that you forgave them won't do anything for them. That's how this works. We have to forgive ourselves more than anything. Because then yes, that's real healing. That's real growth. That's real learning out there. We can always forgive ourselves, and we should always be forgiving ourselves. The actions that other people that are not us, that's a whole nother story in and of itself. That's on them. That's their responsibility. That's their accountability. I was just talking about this on the video prior to this one. So if you haven't seen that one, go back and look at that one. The Voice of Reason. Do you see how it works? It's not that complicated at all. We can forgive people for things that they do to us. Terrible things, not so bad things. Doesn't matter. We tend to forgive people for the harsh stuff, right? Because some of us understand that it's a good way of like releasing these energies and emotions from our system and just get it out, get it all out. Releasing is beautiful. It's everybody should be releasing stuff every once in a while. Stop carrying that stuff inside of you and bottle it all up. You keep bottling it up until it's like you get like a bottle of soda and you shake that stuff up, and eventually that stuff's going to explode, because the pressure is going to be too much. This is what happens, when people hold on to feelings and things and they never let it out somehow. You gotta have like this valve that you turn it on and off every once in a while to just, keep your life light and nice. Don't carry this stuff with you. So, but the part that matters here about forgiveness is, like I said, is about us forgiving ourselves for things that we do to others and for things that we do to ourselves first and foremost. It's taking accountability, being responsible, understanding that we are creating our own reality here based upon our decisions and our actions. It's a very simple way of looking at things. There's nothing complicated or overcomplicated about it at all. Everything that happens in our lives is a result of the actions and decisions that we make. It's very, very easy and simple to understand. You don't need a 300 IQ for it. Ever since I started this channel, I've always been trying, to keep things very easy to be understood. Because it makes it easier for people to digest information and understand, and assimilate things easily without having to be sitting with the information and just thinking about it. And this is why I like to talk about these things like this and make easy to understand analogies, right? Now, when it comes down to what other people do to you, that is outside of your control. Now, that's not to say that you didn't have something to do with how those people did something to you. But their actions were their actions alone. They had a choice to do things however they wanted to do it, and they chose it to do a certain way, right? So even if there were some external influences that made them act or be a certain way towards you, it was still their decision at the end of the day, their choice. You cannot forgive somebody else for things that they have done that have affected your life or someone else's life in a negative manner, in a hurtful manner. This could happen so many ways, right? We could be here talking about this forever. But the point is, that is why forgiving is a very powerful thing. But people sometimes they misunderstand the fact that, we have to forgive ourselves. That's how forgiveness works. That's how you heal. That's how you move on. That's shadow work in a nutshell. What other people do to you, of course it's going to affect you if you let it affect you. And if it makes you feel better, by all means, go ahead and forgive that person. But if you don't feel okay forgiving them, you don't have to. Because guess what? If they don't forgive yourselves, I'm sorry, if they don't forgive themselves, the fact that you forgave them doesn't do anything for them. It may do something for you, but it won't do anything for them. They have to be able to forgive themselves for the things that they have done to you. And that's how it works. It's very simple, down to earth to understand. And that's the whole thing with forgiving and forgiveness. You know, know and understand that the most important part of all is for you to be able to forgive yourself for the things that you have done to yourself and whatever actions you have taken that affected you and others around you. But the things that other people have done to you, even if you forgive them, which is okay to do, like I said, if it makes you feel better, yeah, by all means, go ahead and do that. But if they don't forgive themselves, the fact that you forgave them is not going to do anything for them because that's on them. That's their own accountability. That was their actions, and they have to be the ones who forgive themselves. So just keep that in mind. This is really all I wanted to talk about when it comes down to this whole forgiving aspect of things that happen in our lives. It's super easy to understand. And once you understand that, you will see why there are people out there that will tell you, you don't have to forgive. Why should you? Because they're right about that. Because you can only forgive yourself for things. You can't forgive another person for their own actions. Their actions are their own accountability, regardless of the circumstances that made them act that way towards you. So understand that. Sit with that. It's easy to understand. You don't gotta meditate on this one, okay? It's very easy to understand. And this is really all I wanted to talk about on this specific subject, my friends. I'm gonna finish my walk here now. If you like what you hear, if you like the content, if it resonates with you, like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel to grow and reach those that are meant to be receiving these messages and what I do here. So, I love you all. Never stop loving yourselves. And I will see you next time. Take care, my friends.